have um, the master from Croatia, Ivan Bava, with us to take us through the meditation and have a conversation. Good morning, Ivan.
Good morning. Do you hear me well?
Yes. So, friends, a small intro about Ivan is he is an internationally recognized spiritual teacher, healer, and emotional therapist from Croatia who has established his schools of awareness and spiritual mastery in Spain, India, Slovenia, and Croatia. His programs are in the languages of Spanish, English, Croatian, giving people the opportunity to have access to most important life knowledge in their native language. And his spiritual journey took a turn when he met Satya Sai Baba, and he decided to resign from all his corporate duties and establish the Center of Consciousness in Croatia, giving his body and mind to be used in the service of humanity. And he's also a guest lecturer at the Department of Consciousness Development at the University of Granada. And he has shared stage along with great scientists and authors like Neil Donald, Greg Braden, Joe Dispenza, Don Miguel Cruz, Muji, and others. And he's a frequent guest in various radio and TV shows. And he's an author of the book Answers from Within, which was printed in four languages: Croatia, Spain, Slovenia, and United States of America. And he also runs an online academy, Omni Academy, and he actively runs spiritual retreats and yoga school in Varkala, Kerala, and it goes on and on. So I'm really honored to have him on this platform, Stillness Beat. Welcome, and let's begin with it, Ivan.
Good morning. Thank you. Um, the intro seems to go as long as the session. I get overwhelmed listening to my life. And thank God I do not live it all at once, in perception at least. Yes. That is the mercy of and the grace of linear time, that things get spread out.
Conversation with Ivan on self-love. Ivan, when did you felt like you should be prioritizing yourself and started to accept yourself as you are in the spiritual path?
That is not a singular event. It is an ongoing choice. It is something that fluctuates, um, but only apparently fluctuates on the surface level. It's always a choice between a love for a single being and love for all being as one. Um, if I can be completely honest about the current moment, if the love was focused solely on Ivan this morning, he would not be here, because the love that this body wanted and that this individual being wanted was not to guide any session at 6 in the morning. But there is another level of love, which is also self-love. It is the self that is broader, that is inclusive, that is not divided. And that love only could be here. So it's not a choice of whether there is self-love and then there is love for others. It's just a question, what level of self-love is winning in that moment, or what is the priority. So in this very moment, the love for the broader self that includes all of you and all of us, um, felt that it was appropriate and that there was actually no sacrifice of the smaller self. And even if there was sacrifice of the smaller self, it would be worth it. So, but this is not coming from the mind. And what I see problematic in many lives is when we make it into a dogma, when we make it into a specific belief or a duty that is not filled with love, but like an obligation. Then we feel we are sacrificing, and in that moment, that sacrifice will feel as a burden. And eventually, it will create bitterness and it will create resentment towards others or even being there for them. Um, and the Western world has truly perverted the, the Dharma into an obligation, while Dharma is nothing more than a natural living of one's own love. Uh, we could say that just like the fire burns, and that is the way it shows love. And if it does not burn, it does not exist. There is no fire without burning. In the same way, uh, when we do not express who we are, we do not exist. And if we exist, it does mean we are expressing ourselves. So if you do have a body in this moment, if you do have awareness, if you are conscious, that means you do exist. And by the definition itself, you are living your dharma. It can be maybe that it is little, that it is not burning brightly, but there is chance you do exist. And it will not become better by um, burdening it. It will not become better by like, I have to. There is nothing I have to that would be the true love. There is only what I am and what is naturally coming out of me. And sometimes we will need a dialogue, uh, a little bit of observation. When you and Sam asked me for this, there was no thinking. It came out as a natural expression of love, caring. But then when I found out the timing on a Sunday, I realized that in me there are these concepts of the Western world that have lived for 47 years, which is Sunday is a sacred space, truly sacred. And ask any European to do anything on a Sunday, they will give you an evil eye. Uh, because this is something we cherish so deeply in the culture. But is it true? What is that? It is just a concept. It is something that we, over 2000 years, have created. And we have integrated it so deeply that there is not even questioning. It's just a day like any other. I wouldn't even know it's a Sunday because my day every day is the same. So when you observe these inner movements of energy, you can very quickly realize what is something imposed on you, what is unconscious belief, and what is true reality. Because in true reality, there is no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. There is none of that. There is just days. There is just time. There is not even hours. Because I see we have a friend from Belgrade here joining us. It is 2 in the morning, and in India it's 6:30 or 7. So it is all a lie. There is no one truth there. So when you realize, oh, these are just concepts and they should not be affecting my decision, I only have to observe what is the true impact of love in this moment? And then it says, yes, I am doing this. And then you let everything else on the side. So, to answer your question in this very long way, it is, I do not remember a single day when I made a decision and then it was like that. It is a continuous deepening of this. And the more I live it, the more it becomes clear.
That's so beautiful. And yeah, thank you so much for being here on a early morning where
No,
it's not
no.
at all a usual thing for
I'm
you.
just making it like a point for the teaching. It is not a burden at all.
Yeah. So, Ivan, usually most of the suffering and the pain and the doubt people are living in today comes from the low self-esteem, which is not
Mm,
accepting themselves because self-love starts with acceptance. So, how to start accepting ourselves as we are and to love ourselves?
mm. This is truly entering a therapeutic area of self-understanding. Um, I have seen that even though it is so simple, there is nothing complicated about. For our minds, it takes time to start living it in the linear time. And um, first of all, there is a huge burden of expectation, of education, of culture, of religion that has imposed itself on us. We did come not as a clean slate. We came as wise beings. And if we do incarnate on earth, it means that we are true masters, because it takes a master to be born on earth and to limit himself to such a level that we are able to limit ourselves here. So, someone who is not a master would not have the capacity of limiting oneself so much. And as part of this beautiful limiting experience we are giving ourselves, is a burden of family, tradition, beliefs, dogmas, stupidities that are taken as rituals and as something so important, like your life depends on it. Um, while the nature itself continuously keeps showing the opposite. It keeps showing a naturality of existence, of flow, of complete absence of dogma and rituals and beliefs. Uh, or if they are there, they are very limited, usually to mating and, uh, and to making the species go on. And uh, one has to start with realizing what it is that is burdening his consciousness and his mind as an obligation, as something that is by itself not true but invented, made up. Um, there is in the Course in Miracles. I don't know if you know the book, and it's one of the musts of of current spirituality. A Course in Miracles covers 365 days of exercises given by Jesus Christ, and um, in the book he says you only need to go from uh, wrong-mindedness to right-mindedness. And he says the mind can only make up things and miscreate. It never truly creates. Only the consciousness creates. The mind miscreates. So, uh, when you see what was miscreated in your life as a concept, as an imposition, um, you will start to differentiate between truth and lie. With between, like I said, is really Sunday something so significant? And you come to see that it is not. It is a made-up concept. It was not created, it was made. Um, and you see, we know this. For example, when my nephew was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years old, he was sitting in the back of the car I was driving. And in Croatia, we have a beautiful saying when somebody is being silly or mischievous or like saying something, you ask them, "Oh, who made you?" Like this, and it's a joking thing. And I told him, his name is Angelo. I said, "Angelo, who made you?" And he, from the back seat, seriously said, "Uncle, I was not made. Things are made. I was created." And I said, Who, who, by whom? And he said, by God, obviously. And I said, how do you know that? He said, um, I know a lot of things. So now he is in a little moment of forgetfulness, let's call it, as a teenager. There is not much of that awareness exhibited. But it is so obvious that we know these things. As children, we know. Now we only can allow ourselves the time to remember. And um, being gentle, this is what I would suggest. That the harshness of the current civilization, where we are made to be productive producers, as if we were robots, as if we were made to make, made to produce. Um, this is the heritage of past slavery, of past domination of small groups over the masses, where the masses were expected to just serve a smaller group of individuals. And this has remained in our society, even if we have evolved, even if we have become democratic and human rights have developed. The basis of our society is still enslavement. It's just there is a monetary compensation for this enslavement, but enslavement is there. It is so integrated. It is like self-hatred. It is a self-imposed slavery because you do not even doubt it. There is no even questioning if this is the right way to exist as a civilization. So what I ask people is to remember that they were created in the likeness and image of the divine. They were given a paradise called planet Earth, where everything was given for our lives, given freely: the air, the water, the fruits, growing by themselves, the rain, the wind, the sun heating us. Truly, there is nothing we need to make besides what we were given. And yet, we were convinced that we need more. So, self love is actually realizing that you are cared for by the divine 100% of the time, and then taking time, and it will maybe take you months or a few years, and it is okay. It has taken me as well time to start relaxing in the truth of the care of the care of the spirit for the material existence.
Beautiful. Uh, so, Ivan, usually, the conditioning of these beliefs that you've said, the limiting self of us, it happens in the childhood mostly through parents, through the
And
environment that we
schooling.
schooling. Yes.
Yes.
So even for me as a kid, you know, I used to go to music classes, which I really didn't like because my mom liked music, learn singing and all. She made me go to the classes. But somehow, when I was practicing at home, she used to say, your expressions don't look good when you're singing. And that put me into the insecurity mode where I stopped singing. And even though her intention was to make me feel, I mean, look good and sing well, as a kid, I couldn't accept what she said. And I went into a very insecure mode.
Mm.
And even to just speak in front of people, to be expressive became very difficult for me as I grew up as a teenager. So, how do
Mm.
we actually correct these uh, limiting beliefs that gets conditioned as a child and
Mm.
truly accept as we are?
There is, first of all, acknowledging the truth of the emotion that is present. In the West, through the Greek culture, they were masters of energy and masters of psyche. They fully understood how human psyche works, and their society was centered around making sure that um, people are healthy psychologically. Um, Theater in Greek times was an integral part of the state. So there was no division of the state and religion. They did not have religion in the way we know it today, but they would collectively go to theater as a healing experience. It was not entertainment. So the reason why there is Greek drama, Greek tragedy, is that they were consciously guiding people through the catharsis of emotional release so that they would be healthy on the outside, even if in the theater they would go through hell. And it was better to go through hell of 2 hours and then live normal life for the rest of the week than to suffer psychologically as we do in our culture today. So, as I said, because things are perverted and nothing is as it was meant to be, um, the emotions that were stuck in you do require a release. In Greek culture, they knew that you had to kill your mother and kill your father, but of course, not physically kill them. You had to do it energetically. In the tribes of Africa, where they still more or less live in a balanced natural way, or the tribes of South America in the Amazon, they do have these growing up ceremonies where they are being released from the shackles of the parents. Not because parents are evil, it's because they are doing the best they know. But it does damage you. It does make you feel lesser. My father, he had the tendency to make me the most self-confident man, and on another day, he would smash me and squash me to the floor, not physically, but psychologically, that I would feel lesser than an ant. And so I did struggle myself with these extremes of being so self confident and then being so diminished in my existence, in my opinions or what I want. Uh, it took me 30 years at least to start thinking that the flavor of ice cream that I want is actually what is actually better for me than what somebody else would suggest. Because for 30 years it took me that I would ask, so which one do you want? What do you think is better? I would not trust myself to have a ice cream that I want. And I had a big celebration in Hyderabad this few days ago when after lunch with friends we went to have ice cream and I chose the best ice cream. And I was cherishing the moment of choosing the best ice cream of everyone there. And everybody confirmed that truly is the creamiest and the most flavorful. And I was like a child being happy that I did trust myself and I trusted that I can choose ice cream better than looking what everybody else wants. It is ridiculous that a man of 47 years would at that moment cherish it. But I'm like better now than ever, than ever. So um, the fact that you were put down and in a way diminished, there will be anger, and anger is a natural emotion that needs to be lived. Nobody will come to self-love without going through the anger and sadness. Okay, it is like a given. They are natural. They are psychotic only if they remain in the past or in the future. Any emotion is natural if it is happening in the present moment, related to a present thing. So, uh, fear, anger, and sadness are very natural, and self love means you allow yourself to experience them and you are not judging yourself when you are experiencing them. If they do not exist in the present moment but start to be in the past or in the future, they become psychotic emotions. So, fear in the future is preoccupation, is worry. It's very psychotic. Anger in the past is resentment, that you live it now, but it has nothing to do with now. Sadness in the past is depression. So if you live resentment, that is anger unprocessed from the past. If you live depression, that is sadness that you did not allow yourself to experience. If it's worry, it is fear about something that is not even here. So you can easily come to understand what does not belong to the present moment, what is a psychotic thing, and what is a natural thing. So, to heal a psychotic thing, it does require. I tell people, okay, do the alo, the three steps: allow, let go, and hand it over. There is an emotion in you. There is resentment towards what mother did, for example, or there is anger about it. Allow the anger to be. Don't fight it. If you fight it, you are giving it more energy, you're draining yourself, and you're showing you're less than the anger. You are not. You're greater than the anger. So allow it to be. Why are you disturbed by it? When you allow it to be, first you're acknowledging its right to exist. You're acknowledging the present moment. You're being true. Secondly, you you are showing that you are the greater, because if you allow, you are, let's say, in control. You're not truly in control, but you're demonstrating your power. You are empowered. That's the right word. You are empowered. And then you start breathing with it. You start making love with it, because everything here exists to make love with. Even fruit, when you eat it, you're making love with it. You're kissing it, you're chewing, you are enjoying the flavors. Everything should become a love-making event. So even being with anger or with resentment or with fear, start making love with it, because then you will mix yourself and you are greater. So the spirit will mix itself and it will heal it. It will no longer reject, it will no longer be afraid of it, it will no longer like set back itself. No, you will be empowered to be in its presence. And because all of it is a single energy, there is no 100 types of energies. There is everything comes to one energy when it dissolves back to the normal, to the natural state. So anger and fear and sadness and joy and love and peace, it's all the same energy and at a different frequency. So when you make love to it, you allow it to be, you let go of your control. That's the second step. You let go. Let go of wanting to change it. Let go of fighting it. Let go of wanting it to be different. I don't want anger to change. I like you. I'm making love to you. In this letting go, it will stop having the charge. It will stop having the gravity, the power it has. And it will go back to the basic energy state, which is neutral. And from that neutrality, you can hand it over to the life and say, make with this whatever you need. And some impulse will come within you. It will say, oh, I would like that this becomes motivation or peace. And it will turn into that. Because from the neutral state, it can become anything. From anger state, it cannot become anything. It can only become either neutral or more anger. So you have to choose to make it neutral. And once it is neutral, it can become any other energy. So within you, you need to, I'm sorry for the words, to tell your mother, fuck off. To tell her, I hate you. Because that's what the little girl wanted to say and could not say it. It doesn't mean that you really hate your mother. Of course you don't. But be honest with the energy that is there. If it says I hate you, then I hate you. Then become the little girl. Allow this energy to surge. Allow the emotions to flow. Allow to cry. And you will see this is love because it is honest. It is accepting. It is not judging. And it is true to you. You cannot deny these. I would suggest that even you speak to your mother to say, that hurt me so much. I hated you. I can strangle you now. This honesty will create so much deep love between two of you. It will create a beautiful new relationship, not to heap the resentment somewhere hidden. I wish I had opportunity before my parents passed away to tell them how much I hated them in moments when I was a child, and I did not.
Yeah, that's really deep
I'm
and
sorry to put you in this situation publicly.
not at all. A lot of us
Yeah.
will connect to it because each one of us would be having such kind of experiences in our childhood and would be,
Yes.
carrying it within us from a very long time. Even if we have grown up like 50 or 70 years, we still carry those emotions from the childhood. So it's really
Yeah.
very important to allow it and be with it. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving that technique for us, Ivan. And yeah, so at least now that I know my non-expressive side was because of some conditioning that happened from my childhood. A lot of us do not even know that there's a conditioning like that because we don't spend time
Mm.
with ourselves, watching ourselves.
Mm.
We are so busy with being around with the things that are happening in life,
Mm.
achieving and proving ourselves and in the relationships and all of these things. So, taking out time to watch ourselves and to see what is the true self and what is the conditioned self, how important is that?
Um, it is a matter of path being chosen. Um, there is a there is a path of, let's call it, selfless service where one forgets of himself, of the individual self. And if that path is taken uh, completely, it will lead to complete healing and an absence awakening. It will lead to awakening. Uh, but rarely do I see anybody taking that path fully. Yes, because eventually the ego starts thinking, "Oh, I'm doing so much for others," and blah blah, and then you trick yourself. So if it's complete, it will make a result. If it's not complete, it will not. Um, so if you do not see yourself as dedicating to the selfless service without thinking, truly like even blindly giving yourself in the karma yoga, and that the individual self disappears as the doer, and that there only Brahman remains as the source of all, then choose the other path and then do that path. And that other path is this, or one of the other paths is this self reflection and taking time. In that case, it is truly, truly very important. Um, in any path we take, there will be discrimination. There will be having clarity, because when doubts come, you can ask yourself certain questions to see what is true and what is an invention, what is made up, and what was created. Um, but taking time in this very intensely busy civilization that we are living actually will slow time down. So uh, 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 there is there is nothing more than you need to do than to truly um, give time to yourself for nothing. And miraculously, it will extend the minutes in the day. And you can't wait for the minutes to extend to do that. You need to do that, and the minutes will appear. So when you make a conscious choice, okay, oh, instead of writing the email in 1 minute, I'm gonna take 10 minutes for this slowly. These 10 minutes will not lose time in the day for you. They will gain you more time. This is pure metaphysics. So when we take time to reflect, to feel ourselves, we are creating time because we are showing by our behavior that there is enough time. And then by the fact of the reflection, it becomes, because the world is a reflection of the inner. So when in my inner I'm living that there is enough time, suddenly there is enough time. Time is created. When I'm rushing, I'm shortening the time because my inner world says there is not enough time. So the reflection in the outside shows there is not enough time. You see? So we are the beginning, not the consequence. We are the cause. And when you realize that you are the principal role in the theater of your life, uh, it becomes obvious that the principal actor uh, has the greatest role to play, has the greatest importance, and that everything else rotates around this principal actor. So, and I'm using the word actor consciously because there is the role being played by the actor, and then there is the actor himself. So, when you start to see it like this, okay, what role am I playing? Huh. How could I prepare better for this role? How can I act it out nicer? You see, my teacher, Satya Sai, in Prashanti Nilayam, which is the ashram where he lived in Puttaparthi, there was the mandir, and next to the mandir was a theater. And on the facade of the theater was the uh, Nataraj, Shiv, dancing and holding the whole universe. And there was a balcony. And Satya Sai lived in a very small room, like 3 by 3 meters, with this balcony in the theater. He always said, my life is my message. So observe what I do and you will get the message. So by the fact that he chose to live in the theater, he was showing us that life is a theater and that you are the director there. Okay, you are the principal role in this theater. So when you know it, you always know you're acting. And you should know to differentiate between the act you're having and you as the being who is acting it. And this is where people get confused. They get so identified with their act that they believe they're it. Imagine if I would be so identified with the role of a teacher in this moment or a master. That is such a terrible burden. I would die instantly from the burden of feeling, oh, Ivan, you are a spiritual teacher and there are tens of thousands of people following you and reading your books. I would hate it. What a terrible life that would be. But I know it's an act. And when the act is happening, I'm fully there and I'm having the greatest time. But I need to withdraw myself from the acting because I can't be on the stage all the time. I need to be me. And it doesn't mean I'm pretending when I'm being a teacher. I'm simply expressing myself through a role. So it's not a pretense, but there is an act there because it serves a purpose. And if we would all know that it's a theater with actors, there would even not be anger and hatred because nobody would take it seriously, nobody would take it against each other.
That's so lovely. That's very, very clearly you explained about it. Thank you so much. And sometimes, Ivan, the more we focus on ourselves, we become self-centered. Like you said,
Mhm.
somehow the ego takes over and we get too much identified with it. And sometimes self-love turns into being selfish. So, what do
Mm.
you say about that?
Um, and selfishness seems to be part of current um, expression of the spirit in this world. It is something we have chosen to live and to experience and to realize that it's not really pleasant or serving. Um, so, as if we look at it like that, we will also relax into it. Oh, I've been selfish. It's okay. If I am aware and if I see the consequences will teach me not to be selfish because the consequences might be difficult, might be loss of friends, might be loss of health. So when you realize what are the consequences of whatever action you are taking, they will be your guru. They will teach you everything. You don't need to read books. Just observe your life and observe the consequences of your choices and your decisions. And it will become obvious what you need to continue living and what you need to stop. And this is how I do it with myself. In my book, I think the first message of the book is the only thing that life expects of you is to live the consequences of your choices. Um, and because when you do live them, you learn quickly. You will not remain stupid for a long time. But avoiding consequences, running away, hiding, Wanting others to take the burden for you will never make you learn anything. You will always remain in this circle, vicious circle of Maya and making mistakes. Um, so, to come back to your question, if I remember it now, what was your question? Remind me.
Self-love might turn into being
Ah,
self-biased and
selfish.
self-centered.
So, this is something to to grow from. Selfishness that is self-centered on an individual being will have consequences that are heavy to live. It will have illnesses, it will have losses, it will have relationships that are difficult, or lack of relationships. And one will be forced by life itself to start expanding this self-centeredness to include other beings. And if you don't want to be forced by life, which is usually uncomfortable, you can choose to consciously start refocusing, participating with people in activities, finding a cause worthy of living, finding a cause where you can dedicate yourself, being with animals, being with plants, gardening, um, being with the sick people. This will produce great level of humility and care. And there is many things that one can consciously do before forces them to do it. Um, and then it will still be selfishness because as your sense of self expands, you will realize that there is nobody else but you. So you are always selfish in your expressions. There is no other. So God is the ultimate selfish existence because everything God does for itself. Even though it seems that it is doing for billions and billions of beings, it is still itself. But there is no this sense of I'm doing it for myself. There is just bliss of giving. And this maybe might help in understanding.
Yes, exactly. Like as you said, ego has an expression of being superior or inferior. Superiority expresses as arrogance, and
Mm,
inferiority expresses as insecurity. All that we need to understand is like what Patriji says, each one of us are equal. Each one of us are masters. Each one of us are gods here. There's no
mm,
superiority or inferiority. We don't become any special by doing any kind of acts. So,
mm,
absolutely just being ourselves and being simple and being humble makes us more loving towards ourselves and others. So, thank you so much for sharing your insights today. And
mm.
friends, we are open for the questions. If you have anything to ask or talk about, you can raise your hand or leave the questions on the chat. And yeah, it'll be nice to hear from your friend Ivan, who has joined from Croatia at
From Serbia.
okay.
Yes. Nemanja. Oh, you want his questions?
He has joined at a very odd
Yes.
time here on the session. It'll be nice to hear from him. Yeah. Hi, Nemanja.
Hello, hello. Uh, Ivan, can you tell us one more time, allow, allow, uh,
Let go.
let go, and then let's,
Surrender or hand it over. Yes.
okay, okay. Um,
So the last step I did not speak much. It is handing it over to life, handing it over to the spirit, surrendering it to the source, so that it does with it whatever it needs to do. It is like surrendering it to yourself in a higher form, in a higher state.
Thank you. Uh,
Was that your question? I mean,
yes,
please ask more if there is anything you need clarified.
uh, I have nothing, nothing more to ask. Maybe later, or maybe someone else would like to ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
You. Thank you so much for being with us at a very odd time. Thank you so much. And Ivan, we have a hand raised from Sharda Khati. Let's hear from her.
Mm.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Namaste, Masters. And Ivan, the way you explain, it's really, really heart touching, and technically you give a points that which we need to understand, like eh, uh, you're explaining about the anger, how we can make it neutral and then let it go. It's a
Mm.
crucial point that you explain about it, and it's a very good learning about that. So thank you
Mm.
so much, and really I appreciate this platform to give such a unique information. And also, I love the question from Praviti. From your question, also make us understand so many things. And the reason I'm asking here is I'm trying to do my meditation, breath meditation, and still I'm struggling and not to be more mindful on the breathing, mindful breathing, and not able to catch the stillness. Whereas we are not going to catch the stillness, it should be automatically happening thing, right? So some says meditation is not doing, it is a being. But I'm struggling. I'm not able to do, though I'm practicing a lot. But can you please highlight and give some tips and techniques so that it can help me?
Mm. That's wonderful. I believe that everyone has gone through that or is going through.
Yeah.
Um,
It sounds so easy. Just go to the bed. But it's not actually. It's complicated for me. I don't know.
Complicated is not.
Huh?
Simple, it is simple because there is now no big structure to it. Um, so rather than complicated, it can be challenging or exciting because our habits are to go to the mind, to go to the thoughts.
Yeah.
So it is not that uh, uh, um, uh, your thoughts have to focus on the breath. It is that your attention goes to the breath instead to the thoughts. It is like a football game. If you know how football is played, there is a ball and there are two teams, and then each team wants to have the ball and push it to the goal of the other. So imagine that when you are meditating, there is actually a football game happening. Your attention is the ball. When the attention is with the breath, it means you are leading the game. You have the ball. When the attention is with the thoughts, it means the mind is leading the game. It's winning. In any football game, the ball will never remain only with one team unless the discrepancy of power between teams is such that the other team has now no chance to ever hold the ball. Generally, it will go between them. So, at the beginning, it is normal that your attention will go to the thoughts and come back to the breath, and will go to the thoughts and come back to the breath. It is a little tiring game. The reason it is tiring is because your mind practices 24 hours a day. When you sleep, when you're awake, when you're eating, when you're showering, when you're working, it's all the time practicing. When do you practice? 20 minutes a day, maybe? Few times a week? And then we wonder, why is the mind gaining? Well, it keeps practicing. So there is no football team in the world who goes to play a match without ever having a practice. They practice every day and then on a Sunday they have a match or a cricket, it doesn't matter which game. So um, the practice is actually what brings power and mastery. I did not learn to cook when I did one meal. I mean, it took me years of practicing to be a nice cook, that people will enjoy my food. So the same is with this. And this is not to say that you already are not, if you cannot do this. You already are. There is nothing you need to achieve. This is not a task, this is not a profit gaining uh, enterprise, okay? It has nothing to do with achieving anything. Enlightenment is not an achievement to be made. Awakening of awareness is not a task that you have to now become great. No, you already are eternal, magnificent, untouched, unspoiled spirit. You are perfectly awakened, you are perfectly pure, you are perfectly divine. There is nothing wrong with you. You have never been anything less than who you are. This is the fact. In this dream world, you have forgotten it. And all you want is to have moments in the day to remember the bliss of your own existence. Don't make it a task or a burden. Make it a pleasure. Make it a love making. Because if it is it is, oh, one more thing I need to achieve. Isn't it sufficient to raise the children, to go to work, to earn money, to feed people? Oh my God, do we now need to even now meditate on top of everything? No, I don't want to meditate. I just want to enjoy. That's the whole thing. If it's not enjoyment, it becomes a burden, and then you don't want to do it anymore.
Okay. Yeah,
So
because I'm
take
sorry.
those moments
Mhm.
that when you are with the breath, don't look at it as a task. Look at
Mhm.
it as sex. Look at it as eating. Look at it as having a sweet, as pleasure. It's like, even if it's for a minute, the bliss itself will be so intoxicating that it will draw you back. But if there is no pleasure in it, you will not want to go back to it. And then it will be this struggling game between the mind and you and the football going back and forth. Terrible. I hate it when it's like that. Tell me, you wanted to ask something more.
Yeah, because yeah, nowadays I'm starting to do like a 1 hour, 2 hour meditation, at least 1 hour or 2 hours a day. I'm doing that one. But the mind is, it's not a jealous, nothing else. Just talking with the mind is have a lot of conversation. Sometimes I just watch my mind and I said, oh my God, so many things, one after one, one after one.
It's
So
good to show you what it does usually. It does this all days. It is confusing you. It is making you worried. It is making you think of things that are unnecessary.
yeah, so unnecessary things come, and I'm trying my best to do the breath meditation. Yes, and
What
sometimes I can. Yes, sir.
one thing that helped me when I was starting, and this was
Yes,
20, 25 years ago or more, I would write these sillinesses because they wanted to go out. So I would either say them out loud, I would say the thoughts, or I would take a pen with my hand and write, just like quickly, blah, 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 okay? And 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 then I would use the mind to write something positive. Or we would just write Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, okay,
Mhm,
100
mhm.
times. And then it's like, okay, now the mind is exhausted by his own things, he will rest. Go rest. I do not fight the mind. I tell it, okay, mind, I know you wish me best. You are the tool for creation because this world depends on the mind. Without the mind, there is no world. So obviously, it will be there. It has to be there. And the mind truly has the best in mind for you. It loves you greatly. It feels it is doing you a service. It is wanting to warn you of all the possible troubles that can come out. Okay? It is like thinking it is serving you. Be gentle, like with a child, with a dear friend, and say, I am safe. Um, Thank you for all your service during the day. You are amazing. Why don't you take a half an hour break? I don't need anything. I'll just sit here. I'm not endangered. Nothing bad is happening. There is nothing I need to resolve. I have now an hour free. I'll just be and you rest. And it will. It will feel respected. It will feel acknowledged. And it will feel it is doing you the service that you require. So ask of it what you need of it instead of fighting it. Because when you're fighting it, it's trying to prove its point. It's trying to say, can't you hear me, woman?
No,
You
that's
need to listen to me. But if you do listen and you do acknowledge, it will relax and say, okay, I have done my job.
okay. Thank you, sir. So, do you have any online meditation practice?
We have this one. I'm not personally
Yeah,
here
you're
every
right.
day.
You're right. You're right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, this
Thank you
is
so
it.
much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. And yes, actually, as you said, we are almost in the doing mode throughout the day, and we are overstimulated from every side. That's the reason mind cannot get into the stillness very easily. It's just a day 11. We have a lot of days to practice. Let's go slowly and let's not
Mm.
have kind of expectations to get into the stillness right away. So let's keep practicing and just show up and be with us, meditating, and you will definitely catch the
Mm.
stillness that you are looking for. And yeah, we had Swami's Devi also raising her hand. Let's.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Hi everyone. Thank you very much for organizing all this. It's so beautiful. Yvonne, I met you in Shasta when in this August when we went there. I'm Devi.
Mm.
I'm Swami's Devi. So we are also Sat Sai Baba's born and raised as Sat Sai Baba devotees, and what we are today is only by his grace. So I love to be called as Swami rather than not comfortable calling myself as Devi instead of so I'd be comfortable to call myself as Swami's Devi. So the question I have and the answers you gave to Ma'am Sarada was so beautiful about pleading or requesting the mind to be quiet, be relaxed, and leave me alone. That's so beautiful. And my question here is, Ivan, and even to Prudvi too. You guys were mentioning that. No, I'm little bit confused. Do we need to suggest the children to do something, or we just watch and see what they do? No, I just want to, because now my kids are grown ups now, but still once in a while I tell once in a while I try to say something or the other, but at the same time they don't resist or anything. But by hearing you, I was thinking that better I have to tell them something or just be quiet and watch what they do.
Um, It is not a black and white or yes or no answer, obviously. Um, if you consider a parent as a nurturer, um, you need to be aware of what you're nurturing. If if you have planted an apple tree,
Mhm.
you need to be aware that it is an apple tree. Your duty is to know what is growing there. And maybe at the beginning, all the trees look the same. Truly, apple and pear and plum and cherry. I know in India we don't have these, but in other continents there are. And um, uh, they look quite similar. So you can't know what it is unless you have consciously planted. So let's say that with your children, you didn't know. They were just trees, okay? And they could turn any fruit. But a parent has to sort of pay attention to what this child is bearing within them. What is it? And nurture that rather than imposition of what they believe is right. Because an apple tree cannot bear oranges. And then it will create frustration. They will feel that they have not succeeded in life. Look, this is coming out of me, and my parents told me this has to come out. There is no way that can come out. Well, because humans are not trees, we are even able to make things come out that shouldn't. But the price of it is frustration. However, you also cannot not be you. So, whatever tendencies in you as a parent are there, they will come out. They have chosen you as a parent for a reason. They have chosen you because you are like you are. So, you can't judge yourself for being how you are and thinking, oh, maybe I'm not good for my children. You are perfect for your children because they chose you as a parent when they were being born. And you chose them as the children. You have agreed upon this. So, they needed you exactly how you are. You cannot deny that. That doesn't mean you cannot be having all these awarenesses. The fact that you're asking this question today means you're ready to hear it. You're ready to have an approach of nurturing a specific kind of being that was born as your child or as your children, and see what kind of support this being needs and what kind of support the other being needs, because they will not need equal things. So you can't be same mother to all of them. I don't know how many children you have. Uh, so it will require you to be different because their needs are different. And this is the most beautiful way to love, is to discover who they are and to create environment in which they will discover who they truly are, rather than acting out of fear of existence. True spirituality and true trust in the divine, and as you say, your Swami's Devi, you are confirming whose life this is. So there should be no worry in that moment. You should trust that the divine has created these beings and it will make sure they survive in their own expression, not that they have to fit some social norm or do a specific job, otherwise they won't be successful. That is a lie. So maybe they will need to risk, maybe there will be failures, but that's part of life. We can't save anybody from failing. That's the biggest teacher is I I'm glad I failed because it's a beautiful experience. You get up and you realize, wow, I can get up. Yeah.
Thank you. Not anything big or anything. They are, by Swami's grace, they are very, 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 very nice kids. But once in small minute things, I say, okay, what about doing like this and all like this? So after hearing, I thought, okay, maybe I'm not supposed, I mean, I better be stay away and watch and see what decisions they make.
You have every right to give your suggestion.
Thank
And
you.
they chose you as a parent precisely because how you are. So you don't need to impose yourself. You can find a way to express it. The greatest love you can show them is that you're not worried about them. Because if you're worried, that is very bad.
Yeah.
It's not a good energy. So simply don't be worried about them.
Okay.
Love them like that. Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Thank you, Prithvi, for letting me
Pleasure.
talk.
Thank you so much. And yeah, so we are over time. Ivan, we have few questions on the chat. Is that okay to take?
We do have many, I saw, and you can read, please, what you feel we have not answered or.
Okay. From Percy, we have a question saying, how is breath mindfulness a tool for mental and emotional healing? Could you help understand?
Um, well, it is a tool because it will bring to light the disbalances. You will not be able to run away from them. And there will be madness coming out. You will maybe not even want to sit with yourself. You might become even nervous. But this is showing what is hidden. And not by just what I'm saying or what my experience, but thousands and thousands of years of experience of meditators. And Gautama Buddha himself going through madness. It's not that he had a jolly time meditating. I mean, just read about it. It was hell. Fighting demons. Well, they were not really demons, they were the mental things. Jesus Christ, he went to the desert 40 days to fast and meditate. They say he met devil. It's not that the devil appeared from some other dimension. It is the devil inside. It is truly terrible. So when you start meditating, expect that, like Buddha, like Jesus, like any other master, you will go through hell. Simply accept it. But that hell is the mental and emotional disbalances that need to be healed. And there is end to it. It's not going to last forever. And they have proven through thousands of years, all of the meditators have proven, if you do not quit, you remain with the breath, you remain with the self, it will clear out like the storm. There will come calm and there will come perception of who you truly are, and that will heal. It's not that emotions and mind will heal by itself. The spirit that you are will heal them when the presence of it is known. I'm sorry if I scared anyone with this, but just to set expectations straight.
Yes. And we have one question from Rajni Dasraju. Can you clarify on surrender to life? For these friends, we have an exclusive session which we did with Ivan on a WAV session. It's on Omega channel. I'll be sharing that link over here. Yeah, quickly, if you can talk about it, Ivan, it'll be nice.
Um, I mean, quickly, no.
Yes.
What I can clarify on surrender to life, um, in reality, it is surrender to oneself. It is the person, the ego, the personality, realizing that it is not the one who is living life. It is not the one who is doing anything. It is just an instrument through which life is expressing itself. So surrender is actually accepting that There is a greater intelligence that is truly acting and truly resolving and truly living itself. And it is simply a deep relaxation of tension. It's a deep relaxation of control, thinking that you control anything. It is, in a way, you talk to this intelligence and you say, uh, you take care of it. You guide me. You take me. And by saying these words, the person will relax and the intelligence will take over because it's only waiting for a sign. It is because it doesn't want to impose itself. Life does not impose itself on itself. It would be counter life. So life also knows that the person is one of the expressions of life. So it will allow the person to do its thing until it's tired of doing it. So rather than waiting that you're really, really exhausted, do it before. That's all. But yes, that video that we had on Wow was in depth. I believe that it will give much more answers.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Ivan. And I hope we have taken all the questions. And yeah, it was
Hmm.
an amazing conversation with you, Ivan. It's always fun. We always think that, spiritual masters are a little serious kind of people, but talking to you, it's so much fun, childlike, and so simple, humble. It makes us so happy to talk to you. And at the same time, you give such deep informations and insights, which
Hmm.
also grounds us into the reality and takes us towards the truth. It was lovely talking to you. Amazing
Great
session.
pleasure.
Thank you so much for your time and insight today. And the meditation was also very nice. Thank you.
Namaste.